Testing the speakers
on StreamYard. Sounds like they're working. Have a great show. Testing your speakers at StreamYard. Sounds like they're working. Have a great show. Boom, 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 boom. This not-so-live broadcast of the Brown South Girls is brought to you by StreamYard. Closed captioning provided by whichever internet entity you decide to watch this on, whether that be Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Side effects of watching the Brown South Girls may include joy, a little bit of laughter, and great conversation.
And now, welcome to the Brown South Girls podcast.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Y'all listen, we're doing something different.
A little bit.
A little bit different. Tell them why we're doing something different.
Well, you know, for one, they let us back in the room together again.
At the same time.
You know, I know y'all love to see us together. I know. I love it too.
It happens.
But you know, our schedule is just caught up to us this time. So I won't be able to be there live on Sunday.
She won't, but I will.
So we decided to do it not so live. But I'll definitely start watching with y'all live. And I'll make sure to comment. Mm-hmm.
So this show is pre-recorded. So it's live, pre-recorded.
It's live-ish.
Live-ish. Is that a thing?
It can be. We put ish in front of everything else, behind everything else.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see my Juneteenth shirt.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I like that. I like those shoes.
Uh-huh. Mm. Yes, Meek Apparel.
Nice.
This show is brought to you by
Meek Apparel.
Meek Apparel. Yes, it is. All right. I think we need to do the show right. Just because we're recording doesn't mean we shouldn't do the show properly.
True.
How should we start the show out?
We gotta put on our intro.
We do. Let me scroll through here and find it.
Because what is the show without the intro? That's like watching Power without hearing Joe.
We going to see Joe tomorrow.
Oh, I'm so excited. And I know we're going to see Joe, but I really hope he comes out. They say this is a big, rich town. You know, just to get everybody hyped.
I just come from the southern part. Brown South girls all up in this.
Where it goes down. I just happen to come so far. I'm going to be singing to Joe.
Listen, we making up words. We're trying to make it Brown South girl-ish.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what we need to do?
Play the intro.
We back.
Just like that.
All up in here. Mm-hmm. All up in the house.
Back like we never left.
We never left.
Because we didn't.
We didn't. It's June.
It is.
And it's almost not June.
It's about to be July.
You know, I celebrated my birthday this month.
You did. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We did.
How's it feel?
It feels real good. I feel good. I got to let the people know I feel real good. Thank everybody who gave me birthday wishes. I appreciate you guys. I had a busy month.
Yeah. You were kind of all over the place. You was on the move.
I was. I really, really was. I was summer here. I was in the Queen City.
You were.
Mm-hmm. Was that in?
No, well, that was in May, but that was a week before June.
It was.
So it still counts.
It all just kind of
meshed
up together, you know. But I tell you what, I was like really, really busy. I had a whole lot going on, but we're here, and I tell you what, the last Sunday of the month, it seems like a long time, but it comes by quickly.
It's like you blink, and you're a week away from the last Sunday.
Absolutely, but let the people know what we're going to talk about.
So, well, being that y'all are watching this on the internet, we're actually going to be talking about how the internet is shifting the culture. Yeah. And just some changes that it's really bringing about.
Well, I mean, there's so many things that happen on the internet and people feel, well, in fact, you know what? It's a part of our lives now.
Right.
Let's be honest.
It is.
Because we walk around with these things right here. We walk around with these things all the time in our hands. And people are always logged on. It's really like an extension of our body. We gotta, you know, and they're talking about this neural link, you know, putting the chip in your brain. We really walking around with our chips right now.
Right. Honestly, I don't need another chip. I got one. I paid for it. It's mine.
Right. We're walking around with it. I don't need you to put it inside of my body. I got it. Okay.
Right.
But I tell you what, that's a good topic. I don't really know where to start with that, but I will say this. I know that with people being on the internet, people feel so connected to you.
Right. Right.
Now, in some ways, I feel like that's a good thing because we can connect to people. We have an opportunity to feel closer, and especially when it comes to our family members.
Right. Right.
Right. So when it comes to our family members, people who are close to us, that well, if they live far away, we can feel closer. We can feel like we're seeing what's going on in their lives. But what about those people who don't really know us?
And it's funny that you bring that up because especially like when the internet was really booming, and I remember going to college and I would come home and people would be like, "Oh my gosh, congratulations on doing this," or "Oh, I'm so proud of you," and I'm like, "Who are you?" and how do you know that? How do you know that? And I had to learn. I have a really proud mom, which I love it. I do love it, but it took a lot of getting used to having random people just like knowing what's going on in your life, and you don't really think about it because you're not telling these people like, "Oh, hey, let me tell all of these people that I did this." So it was kind of weird to adjust to at first, but then eventually it became so normal to like see what people are doing all the time, until now it's like if someone were to walk up and be like, "Oh, I saw an episode of the Brown South Girls," I'm like, "Okay, thank you for the support." So I feel like we kind of grow and adapt with how the internet is changing things.
I agree because it's like when I go out, I'll see people and they're like, "Hey, I listened to your podcast today," or "I really like what you guys are doing. Keep going." And it's interesting. It really is an interesting thing, especially in a local sense. That is,
Right.
but people really feel connected to you, and we feel, to be honest, we feel connected to people.
Right.
And I see people sharing. And one thing that I got to say about the culture, although sharing is one thing, and I heard what you said, like people will come up to you and say, "Oh, congratulations." That's because you had the proud mom posting. Guilty,
Proud
guilty,
mom.
guilty. But what happens when people overshare in some of the traumatic things in their lives?
And I think with that, because like we're saying, you feel more connected to people, and so in a way we're also experiencing these traumatic events with people, but I also feel like there's a time where it's desensitizing us from what's going on because there's so much happening. Like you'll see one traumatic event after another, and you see so many people going through all of these emotions, and at some point you have to kind of sit back and say, "Okay, this isn't my trauma. I can't take this on right now because I just can't physically put myself in that space to continue to see all of this. Like I still actually have my own life to live, and I need to deal with my own stuff." And so I think while it does connect us, sometimes it desensitizes us, sometimes it overwhelms us. It's just it's just so much.
I agree. It can be triggering. It really can be. And just things that we're seeing right now playing out in media with famous families is very, very interesting.
It is.
And I talked about this a little bit on my podcast one afternoon. What's going on with the Simmons family?
Right.
And when you say triggering, I kind of understand because I felt a little triggered by it because I completely understand what that family is going through. And I heard what you said. You was like, "Wait a minute. I'm taking this on. I've got to kind of back away from this." So it's like we've got to decide when we should step away. And I know that's happening to a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
It does. And then when you look at the disaster that happened with the submarine, and you think about everything that's going on and people talking about it, and it's all over the news, and then it becomes like such a tragedy. You feel connected because they have families, and you're thinking, you have a family, so you're thinking like, hey, you want these people to be safe, and it's in your face, and it got you, right there, wondering what's happening,
Right.
and you're just you're glued, or you could become glued. So you got to know how to reel that thing.
Yeah, because I found myself glued. I was down the wormhole. I have learned so much about the sea and just the depths of the ocean and submarine life. I could be a marine biologist because I feel like I learned so much just in the wormhole that I went in, just kind of looking at what was going on and keeping up with the news. So I get it. You can end up stuck in it, and you have to find your way back out and reel it out, because it'll get you.
You do.
It'll get you good.
For as good as anything can be, there's always going to be that equal and opposite reaction.
Yep.
You know, there's going to be the good stuff, there's going to be the bad stuff, there's going to be the in between. And I got to say one thing right now, and maybe you could talk a little bit about this, but I'm looking at your culture and like the dating scene right now on the internet. Like, I feel like the internet culture is really ruining the dating scene, because there's a few people who are grabbing people's attention with their own points of view. And I don't know necessarily that people really feel like that in the real dating world, but they're feeding this stuff into people's heads, and I think they're going to believe it. What is your thought on that?
Well, the best description I've heard of the dating pool is that there's pee in it.
Oh no.
And we say that because I think a lot especially with social media and just the way things are going, you have a lot of people looking up to and romanticizing these relationships that people have, whether it be people who are famous or who have more money. Like, we're watching these relationships unfold and thinking, oh, I want that. But then we're not necessarily doing the work or putting ourselves in the position or places to get that. Then you also have the people who are looking like, okay, well, I see these relationships. Why don't I have it? Or why are all the women that I meet or all the men that I meet not this type of person? And so instead of like doing the self-work, or instead of putting ourselves in the positions to actually meet people, we just kind of go back and forth on social media like, oh, men suck. Women suck. Women only want money. Men are broke. Like, so it's just going back and forth instead of actually like figuring out, okay, what do I want in a relationship? What type of person do I want to be with? And how can I meet that person? It's just a whole lot of back and forth and comparing.
Well, here's the thing. And this is what I'm trying to understand. Is that in the internet space, or is that in the real world space? Because I happen to see a lot of young people out here who are couples. I see a lot of young people getting married. I see that in my real life. I mean, like out in the community.
Right. And
so it doesn't balance to me. Is that really a thing, or is that what people are talking about online?
See, and that's what people are talking about online, because I feel like you're saying, there are a lot more people that are in relationships or dating and enjoying the experience. But I do know people who are on the dating scene and do not enjoy it. And I guess because there are also people who are taking these online ideas and bringing them into their real life. So they're like, okay, well, if the internet or somebody on the internet gets on there and tells me that I need to find a high caliber woman, I'm not going to talk to any woman that doesn't fit into this description that was given in this TikTok. Knowing good and well, you are not at your highest caliber yet. Yeah. So why would you even be in the space with a high caliber woman?
Or having that particular conversation. And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I realized that there is this culture of men versus women. If anything is being discussed online, and I noticed that from my podcast, because it's very interactive. Right. So people are in the chat and people are having their opinions, and we're really having a conversation. I got to tell you that I enjoy it because I find it to be productive.
Right. Yes.
However, somehow someone comes in and it becomes a man versus woman, men versus women. And I don't know how we got here. And I feel like the internet did that.
Yes, I feel like it's the internet. The internet did it, and it allowed us to not take accountability for our own actions and behaviors. So instead of saying, you know what, I need to sit back and self-reflect and think about what I want in a relationship, what I am willing to offer in a relationship, what I want that to look like, we're like, okay, well, if this person can have it, I can have it too, and I'm just going to wait to get it. And so instead of thinking, like I said, instead of doing the self-work and having these conversations, we're just sitting back waiting for it to fall in our laps and then getting mad when we don't find it. And then it goes into, well, women shouldn't do this and men shouldn't do that. And it's like, well, no, maybe we should just look at ourselves and not really look at the other person right now.
Right. And communicate.
Yeah.
I feel like people have to get back to talking to each other. And I say this all the time, communication conversations matter.
They do.
Conversations
They really
matter.
do.
People need to talk. People need to stop, being online and just like have some real life conversations. Or if you're going to use, like I said, it's a tool. So use it. Yes, use it. But don't always go for the salacious stuff. Don't always go for the triggering type of things. The things that don't really involve your life or your lifestyle. Like, I don't know. Don't feed into it. I don't want to tell people what to watch. So I'm trying to
Right.
be careful with what I say. I don't want to tell people what to watch. And the reason why I say that is because it's important to know that entertainment is entertainment.
Right.
However, it does matter. It matters because if you can't separate that, if you're not able to look at it for what it is and value it for what it is, then maybe you don't need to be watching it.
Right.
Maybe you don't. You can't take this stuff as real just because everybody has a camera and just because everybody can use the platform and are using the platform. It doesn't mean that they're coming from an honest place.
Right.
The same way that people lie in real life.
Right. They can lie on the internet.
And they are.
Yeah. And you know what else I think too? Especially, once we were in like the peak of COVID and everyone was kind of by themselves, for lack of better terms, and consuming a lot more media, I think it kind of created the space for people to get a lot more comfortable just saying any and everything online. Like, even if you're not in front of a camera, just commenting. So yes, you're feeding into this, but now you're quote unquote having the conversation, but you're going for the more salacious conversations and just like the more attack type conversations, because who's going to stop you? And if in person, you can feel the emotions of the other person you're talking to. You can feel the energy in the room. But if you're behind your phone, you can say any and everything that you want, get it off your chest, and nobody's really going to do anything about it or say anything about it. All they can do is comment back, and now you're in an internet argument and you have social media beef.
Wow.
So I think that has played a role in it too.
It does, because I mean there are internet bullies.
Yeah, and trolls.
Trolls. They're out here. They're out here to start something. So when you see that you're getting trolls, you got to know how to handle that. It's like you got to have one way of dealing with people in life, and then you've got to have another way of dealing with these people online. And for me, a lot of the time, sometimes it gets a little tricky. Sometimes I get a little triggered, and I wanna deal
right. Like, oh, okay, I got you now.
But
I step back.
Do you know the amount of deletes and hides and blocks that I do? So many. I do a lot more of that than I do of coming back. And I feel like that's important. Why am I going to let myself go through that type of stress? I can't let the internet bring that type of stress on me. There's too much going on in the world for real.
Right.
To be doing that.
To let somebody that I don't know, that doesn't know me, bring me out of my character in a public forum? No thanks.
Listen.
No thanks.
I don't know what we're going to do about it. What do you think can be done?
I mean...
All right, y'all. All right. I see we got some people who are already in the building with us. Thank you for joining the Brown South Girls podcast. We had to switch things up just a little bit with you guys. We had to. It was one of those Sundays where, one of the Brown South girls had to go to work. And the one isn't me. How you doing, KJ?
I'm doing good. Glad to be off work finally, but doing good.
Good. Well, one thing that we did do, we did spend a little time together over the weekend before you had to head back. And so we did a little recording. So as you guys see, the show is still live-ish. It's still live, but some of it we pre-recorded. How you feeling about the show so far, KJ?
It's going really well. This is really the first time I'm able to watch the show in real time. And I'm like, wow, we have so much charisma. I love it.
Oh my goodness.
I'm enjoying it, even though I was there.
Right.
But I think being able to watch it in real time is actually pretty cool.
It's interesting. This is definitely a new vibe. I see we got Mary Fonda Hines in the building with us. She said, hey there, ladies. How you doing, Mary? Happy Sunday. All right. We also have Keisha LaShawn here. Yeah, we got Keisha here. She says the internet can give you a false sense of reality. sometimes you have to disconnect yourself from social media. I agree with
I
that,
agree.
KJ.
Same.
Yeah,
Sometimes you really do. Like you need to give yourself a break so you can get back to reality.
absolutely. You can get caught up, but you need to get yourself together real quick. You know what I'm saying? I see we got Mary
Right.
here. She says, what you say online can come back and bite you. It doesn't go away. She has a
That
point.
is true too.
Mm-hmm. She has a very valid point. I tell you, it's an interesting thing and an interesting dynamic to get caught up into. But I think we should go a little bit. You want to let's listen a little bit more into our conversation. You guys keep the comments coming on in. I see we got somebody here. How you doing, Stanford? Good to see you here with us. He said, "Hey, great job. Keep up the good work."
Appreciate it.
All right, man. We appreciate it. Appreciate you joining us here today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being active here with us. We're gonna get back into our conversation here a bit. All right, let's go.
There's really not that can be done. The internet's not going anywhere. Social media is not going anywhere.
It's not.
We really just have to, for ourselves, like I said, take that step back and do self-reflecting and understand, like you said, that it's entertainment. It's not like this is, the rule book of life. It's entertainment. So you take it with a grain of salt. If you like it, consume it, but do something productive with it. Don't just sit there and take it in and let it change, you or how you view things. Just,
Well, let
it entertain.
Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
And the reason why I say it is entertainment, but it's also educational. So it really depends on what you're watching.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Because there's so much that I learn online. It has been so useful to my everyday life. Some of the things that I am able to do in my everyday life, some of those things I really learned because I sat in front of a computer and I learned. I've actually taken classes online, coaching classes. I've taken and I've watched people and learned how to use different pieces of equipment and kind of assess whether or not I wanted to invest in particular pieces of equipment because I can watch people use it and see how it could be useful in my space. So
But see, I feel like I think it also depends on how people want to use it because we know it's there, it's educational, and you have the option to learn a lot. But is that something that someone wants to do? Like if I don't want to learn something new, I'm not gonna go look it up. I'm gonna go watch this podcast where these women are talking junk about men because that's just the space I'm in right now, and I need to hear somebody say what I can't get off my chest.
But here's the thing.
I don't watch those, by the way.
Well, sometimes I do. I watch a little, I watch a little garbage TV sometimes.
Well, yeah, sometimes. But sometimes it makes me mad and I just have to, I'm like, you know what? Never mind.
I don't, because I know the difference. Right. But here's what I'm going to say. Because let's think about those people who's making it, right? And here's why you have to know that there are levels of entertainment to it. Because number one, they're content creators.
Right.
They're getting these numbers. They want these numbers because these numbers can be monetized. And so the more eyes they get, the more they can be monetized. And if people are responding to like the crazy, they got to give you more crazy.
Yeah, that's true. They got to keep it going.
They got to give you more crazy because that's how they're keeping the money in. And you got to know that to be true because when people find their audience, you got to stay with them. That's who's rocking with you. So people are going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to take a little, it's not really a turn because the internet walks that fine line of what's happening in real life and then what's being pushed, just being pushed in people's faces. Because the thing is, you said, how is the internet shifting the culture? And when we look at some of the culture of some of these, like the OnlyFan culture, the culture of this OnlyFan girl and that type of lifestyle, I'm looking at what is playing out on the internet with Zion Williamson. And I find that to be so incredibly negative.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking in a kind of way because I'm watching this young woman literally do everything that she can to destroy this young man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I find it unbelievable. I mean, and it's being done online, so it is shifting the culture. So
Mm-hmm.
because she hurt, I'm not she, because he hurt her in her eyes,
Mm-hmm.
she feels like she has to do everything possible to ruin him, and she's putting all of the business out here in these internet streets,
Mm-hmm.
throwing receipts up in these internet streets. And I don't know how I feel about that. For what she's doing now, I think it's going too far. I'm trying to figure out like what type of legal ramifications can come about, because it's too much.
Right. And you know, I feel like a lot of that stuff happens and goes to social media just because that's people know that's where you're going to get a reaction. Once you start an uproar, you have an audience, you get people on your side, and it happens. But it's crazy because I was watching a show on Netflix the other day, and they actually had an episode about this lady who essentially was watching her life play out on a Netflix show. And so when she tried to get it to stop, they were like, well, on page 83 of the terms and conditions, you said that, you know, we had the rights to your name and likeness and your face and things of that nature. But I think when it comes down to like those terms and conditions that we don't read, we just stroll all the way to the bottom and click agree. There's probably something in there that says there's not much that can be done about it if you really think about it. Because I know I haven't read them all. So,
Oh,
yeah.
so you're saying we need to
We need to start reading these terms and conditions before we just click agree and move on.
so do we need to take the Brown South girls off these internet streets?
Oh, no. We can stay. We can stay. Now, if somebody starts impersonating us,
So what if
then we're going to have a
AI
problem.
decides to watch a few episodes of the Brown South girls? And the next thing we know, we at home, it's not even Sunday.
And we just on the internet. That's crazy.
What we gonna do?
I don't know, KJ. I don't know, KJ. I don't know how you feel about it right now. We were having a conversation. It's a whole lot going on, but I see we got people in the comments here. So let's see what our people are talking about here in the comments a little bit. I see we got Mary Fonda Hines. She says, some people use social media to escape reality. Social media has pushed some of the suicide, especially if the person has issues that are not getting help. I can see that happening. I really can. I see we got Amina in here with us this afternoon. How you doing, Amina? Good to have you here joining the Brown South Girl, another Brown South girl herself. She says the situation with Zion is giving public bullying and cyber harassment. That's what I think, KJ.
I think so too. That's really what it sounds like. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't know all the legal ramifications for that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's definitely what it sounds like and what it looks like. And
Really?
she shouldn't be able to do it, but you know,
And
that's
you
my
know,
personal opinion.
right. And considering that she is, I think she's like almost or nearly 10 years his senior, you know, because this young man, right, he's somewhere 22, 23. I can't remember his exact age right now, but you would think that she would be showing a lot more maturity. But I remember you said this to me yesterday about hurt people. What'd you say?
Oh, hurt people.
Yeah, they do.
And maturity doesn't come with age.
Say it loud.
Maturity does not come with age.
It sure doesn't.
As we are seeing.
I see we got Stanford here with a comment. He says, it's a little bit of something for everyone. It's a lot of good and a lot of bad. You just can't let it rule your life. You get from it what you can and leave the rest. The harm comes when you try to absorb it all. Everything is not meant for everybody. I got to admit, I agree.
Yeah, I was going to say that last sentence, that everything is not meant for everyone. Just because you see it, other people are doing it, or it's a hot topic, it doesn't have to be for you, and that's okay. That's all right.
Absolutely. I see we got Annie Lee here with us. Hey, she says, hey, y'all, how you doing, lady?
Hey.
Good to see you. She also says, that's why they call it fake book. I had to read that carefully because I was about to say Facebook. She said, that's why they call it fake book. I'm so tired of the spammers and scammers. They are everywhere.
They are. And you know, it's crazy. I actually got a message from someone that actually knows me. So I'm glad it was someone who knows me, basically asking me, you know, if everything was okay, because I guess they'd been getting messages from like a spam page that was using my profile picture,
Oh,
like saying that
wow.
I was having some type of heart condition. I was like, my heart's fine. That wasn't me. Thank you for checking before you responding to this person. But I'm like, that's crazy.
That's crazy and dangerous. And because
Right.
by that happening that way, I think I'm also a little bit leery. Like you said, the person knew you and contacted you. But I think I'm also
Mm-hmm.
leery of if someone knows me and contacts me, if they don't contact me directly. Like, I don't even want them to contact me within the social platform because
Right.
that too could be fake.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
this thing could totally get out of hand. And I think that it has, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I see
Yep.
Annie
Yeah,
Lee
yeah.
has, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, we have another comment here from Annie Lee. She says, for me, it helped me raise awareness on my son's rare disease internationally. But sometimes it's a lot for me to share daily. It
Mm-hmm.
is. It's
It
a
is.
lot. It's quite a bit. It like kind of like what we really know this, but really what Sanford said here, you know, there is some harm, but everything is not meant for everybody. You know, you got to rule out what's good and decide what's best for you. You know, take
Mm-hmm.
what's best for you and leave the rest. I just kind of
Yeah.
mingled up his message a bit, but that's pretty much
That's what
pretty
he
much what he
said.
said.
He said it
Yeah,
in there.
that's what he said. All right, KJ. I mean, we got to keep the conversation flowing. You guys let us know what your thoughts are. We're having a conversation on the internet's influence on culture. I mean, we see it shifting the culture all around us. And we need to be having conversations about this, about the community, online communities, these subcultures. And there's a lot of them, from people being fans, you know, the whole fandom, to interest-based groups. Um, there's a lot of different things that are good, things that may not be so good. So let us know some of the experiences that you've been having, and we are going to continue the conversation. All right.
Well, you know what? AI can do a lot, but it can't be us.
It can't be us. It can't be us. It can't mess up the show like how we
Right.
was messing up and stuff.
It can't.
What we went through.
Right. AI can't set all this up.
Was AI gonna do testing the speakers and StreamYard?
Sounds like they're working. You know, that actually might be an AI voice.
I think it is, because it sounds
Because,
like
it doesn't sound like a real person
it
singing
doesn't.
that.
Matter of fact, they need to get us to sing it.
They should. StreamYard, if y'all watching, do the StreamYard watch?
I don't
What
know.
if it's run by AI too?
Are they real?
Right. What if they not real? Somebody from StreamYard get us
Call
on the
us.
call us. We ready to do the testing your speaker song jingle.
Yeah, we want to let y'all know that it
Sounds like it's working.
sounds like it's working.
Have a great show.
All right, that's what we're here for. The internet, man. These internet, like where the internet is now.
I would have
Man,
never imagined.
Me either. Me either.
Never.
Like, see, you were young the first time you had access to the internet. What was your first social media platform? Do you remember?
I think it was MySpace. It was MySpace. And it was so crazy because we would go through so much, literally coding to make our MySpace pages cute, had music playing, pictures going in 3D. Like it was, and I liked it because it was fun. Like I liked making my profile backgrounds cute and picking and editing our pictures. Lord.
It was personalized.
Right. It was personalized. It was fun. And yeah, it was a time. And I also remember just not like the internet wasn't Wi-Fi. So if somebody picked up the phone while I was editing my my background, I had to wait until the phone call was over so I could get the internet back.
It was, what did they used to call
dial up?
Yeah,
and it had the sound like, well, there we go.
Oh wow.
There goes the internet.
I didn't know that I didn't know that you were on MySpace. I thought you started in the Facebook era.
Oh yeah. Nope. I had a little MySpace. It was so cute. I loved it.
What happened? Where is MySpace?
I hope gone.
Why? You said I hope gone. just evaporated.
Just evaporated into oblivion because listen.
On Mars somewhere.
It's just the way like our generation used to pose taking pictures with the peace sign and the bang. There are just a lot of memories I don't want from MySpace. That's why. But just poof,
bring
gone.
MySpace back.
If you do, just leave mine.
It was such innocent times in these internet streets.
Until it was a battle to be in somebody's top friends. Because you might think you best friends with somebody and you go to their MySpace page and you're not on the top 5. And now we got beef when I see you at school tomorrow. Because why am I not your top 5 friend on MySpace?
And
that's where it started.
That's when the culture began to shift.
Yeah. Because we were looking for validation on the internet when we knew in real life we had friends and who our friends were. But because we couldn't see ourselves in that top 5 on MySpace, now we got a problem.
Wow.
And I'm taking you out of my top 5 if I'm not in yours.
Okay, I'm not in your top 5.
Right. You're now number 7. How do you feel?
Number 7 is not on the list.
Right. But yeah, that really is when it started to shift.
Wow.
It started to shift.
Yeah, and then everybody began to look at other people's lives and look at where people were taking vacation, looking at what people are eating, and that made them feel a particular way.
Yeah, because it's like, dang, well, what am I not doing? Or what am I doing? Or why can't I do that? Or how do you get this? Instead of just appreciating what we have, we ended up looking at and yearning for what other people had and what they were doing, when we don't know what's going on in the background, you know?
Well, you know, I like what you said, not appreciating what you have, but also at what point are you going to realize that you've got to get out in the real world and really do something? Like you really have to be out here working. You can't just be here on this thing all day. Like people who are able to be online all the time and who just, did you see this online or did you see so? Like, I'm like, no, how do you have that much time to do that?
Right. Like what kind of days do you have and how can I get some? Because I don't have time. Not all day, every day. Like there's so much stuff that I've missed and people are like, oh, did you hear about this? I didn't. But I can go look it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you feel the internet has shifted the culture? Now, we're going to take some of your comments and I'm going to read some of your comments. KJ, you're not going to be able to read like none of the comments.
I know, but
guess what? We worked that out, didn't we?
We sure did.
Yes, we did. We worked it out. We got it worked out. And then we got a comment up here from Amina. She says, but the internet has definitely provided a platform where influence cannot be fully quantified or qualified. We're watching how people connect change. We're watching how people connect change so much. I love that we can connect with like-minded individuals, but I'm starting to see group think at an all-time high. These algorithms control what people are able to see and care about. That's true.
It is.
That's true. The algorithm is a totally different thing because they want to push a certain agenda.
And they call it a For You page, but it's really what they want you to see and what they want you to consume. So they can curate that space for the group think. Like, oh, if we put all of this on everybody's timelines or these certain people's timelines, we can start that conversation and get a group of people to think, share, believe, comment on whatever this is.
Right. I see we got Nataki in the building. She says, hi, ladies. How you doing?
Hey.
Good to have you in the building. We're going to send all of those hearts you got up there for us. Guess what? We just taking them all and we just putting them right back in the atmosphere for you. How about that? I see Mary Fonda Hahn. She says, I just love you guys. Great show and chemistry, mother-daughter. Well, thank you, Mary.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We love coming in here with you guys. The idea is exactly what we're talking about and how we talk to each other. I hope that you guys have people in your lives that you can talk to. You should be talking to elders. You should be talking to young people. Older people need to be talking to young people because there's new things that we need to be learning. And then that reverse, younger people need to be talking to older people because there's a little bit of something that you could learn from that wisdom side, from that experience side. We need that in our lives.
Oh yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I
Yeah.
I enjoy talking to older people because they just have so much to share, and it's also good to have a different perspective sometimes when you're thinking about and just going through life in general.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And as we continue with the conversation and things that we're talking about and the influence of the internet, I see we have a comment here from Amina. She says, an example is the submarine thing last week. Then news came out about the ship of refugees not getting as much interest. So the algorithm game is a real big play. What
Hmm.
basically wants, whatever the agenda is supposed to be, you're going to notice that because you're going to see it being pushed forward. You're going to see it get more coverage.
Right.
Definitely. You ready to go back into our little conversation here a bit?
Yep, yep.
Let me ask you before we play some more. How are you feeling about how we were able to do this? Because we were kind of disappointed thinking that we might not be able to accomplish doing the show, and we wanted to show up for our people, and so we kind of did a little thing and sat down in front of a camera and recorded something for you guys. But how do you feel about it, KJ?
I like it. I mean, once we kind of brainstormed some ideas of how we'd make it work, I knew we would make it work, but like seeing it come together is really cool. And I kind of like this style. You know,
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's different, but I like it.
you're right. It is different. It is different. But, one of the main things that I like to do, and we have this conversation, I've told you this before, sometimes you just have to be willing to take a risk.
Yeah.
Like maybe we haven't figured it all out. And we didn't have it all figured out. We're kind of, in the mix of making it happen. But, it's some elements of how I do my daily podcast where I am behind a talk bubble and I talk with people combined with,
Mhm.
the Brown South girls typical style of how we have conversation with each other. So just kind of using the medium and making the conversation work. So I think I feel the same way you do. I'm kind of getting used to it, and we're going to let the conversation flow. How about that?
It's okay.
Sounds good to
I'm
me.
going to help the youth them.
Do you them?
Yeah.
But see, and that's another magical thing about the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Because although we will be live
Right.
ish,
Mm-hmm.
it's pre-recorded. And although it's pre-recorded, I'm still going to be there live with the people while they're watching the pre-recorded. Did y'all
Yeah.
understand what I just said?
Oh, like a watch party.
Like a watch party.
I'm gonna join a couple minutes late.
Like a watch party. We got to do it because the girl got to work. It's Sunday, but it happens like that.
Duty calls.
Duty calls.
Mm-hmm.
Got to help the young people. Got to help the young people.
Right.
I don't know. Is there anything else that you want to talk about here?
Well, we were talking about culture, and I was thinking how the internet is kind of taking things that naturally would be for the culture being our culture, and exposing it to everyone, but in a way where it's becoming less cultural. For example, there was a TikTok trend where they were doing majorette dancing, which we all know is traditionally done at HBCUs. And then just everybody else was trying to do these dances, everybody's not a dancer, and that's okay. But it's like there are just so many things that have been taken from creators that are Black and brown, that are for our culture, and done by others, and then other people get the credit for it.
Well, that sounds like the American way.
Living the American dream.
Right. And it is.
It's a
dreaming.
a nightmare. But yeah, like it's doing a lot of that, and I think people have also just become so comfortable sharing any and everything. Like there are just so many things that aren't kept sacred or kept to in person anymore. It's like, that's real interesting.
Do you think we'll get back to doing some of those things? Like I said, there's things that we just need to not share.
Right.
Like our culture being online 24/7, just an open door exposure, because I have to imagine that everybody's not doing that.
Right. And I don't know if shame is the best word, but before the internet, it was just certain things you weren't sharing in public and out loud, because it's like, no, this is something you handle in person, this is something you handle in private, whatever the case may be, you share it with on the need to know basis. And I don't think we have that anymore. Like, everybody's just so, and I love for people to be free. I do. I want you to be able to express yourself, but I feel like there are just some things that you don't express in an open forum, I would say.
I
Like, it's
agree.
okay. Like, yes, conversations matter, but have the conversation with someone. Have it in person. You don't have to have that conversation with thousands of strangers on the internet, because now you're opening yourself up back to those bullies and trolls to give you all of this backlash. And if you're sharing a trauma, that's not helping you.
You're right. You're
It's not
right.
helping you at all.
And I think a perfect example of that, whether there's many examples of that,
Right.
and there are many of us who are guilty of that, because
Mm-hmm.
you got to know sometimes we just get caught up in an emotion.
Right. That's true.
We do. And when you react out of emotion, you're not necessarily making the wisest decision.
Mm-mm.
When you are feeling yourself in a particular emotion, I want to say let's agree not to go online.
Right. I can agree too, because even if it's not an online issue, like say I'm having a heated debate with a friend and we're texting, if I get to a point where I'm emotional, I'm not going to continue that conversation, because I don't want to act out of emotion, because this is still my friend, this is still
Right.
someone I care about, and we should be able to have this conversation, and everybody should feel what they feel, but I still want to walk out of this conversation with my friends.
I agree.
And so even then I will like not allow myself to just immediately respond. Like, okay, well, let me think about what I actually want to say. Let me think about what you're saying, see your perspective, and then make a rational decision on how to handle it moving forward. And even with that, I'm not about to go to the internet. Oh my gosh, look at this text message that I just got and blah, blah, blah. Like,
And I got receipts.
right. Like, I don't even keep receipts from the store. If they ask if I want it, I say no. So the whole keeping receipts and having receipts, like,
But
no.
and you're right, that whole receipts and having receipts, we're watching that play out in a whole lot of ways. We're watching what's happening with the Simmons family. Very, very heartbreaking situation. I don't like seeing or hearing young people that broken.
Me either.
But this is, like I said, this is happening in their life, and they brought it to a space where everyone is, because the internet is a part of our culture. What was your question here again? It said how the internet is shifting the culture. Well, the internet is a part of the culture. It is a part of us. And I think this really began when everybody had their own phones. When people have 100% access to you all the time.
Right.
That became a thing. I never really liked the idea of that. I'm not really a huge telephone person anyway. I have phones, but I really like them because they're cameras.
Right.
I
know.
I do. That's my favorite thing. But that has a lot to do with it too. Like I said, people having that access to you. You get in a heated debate or discussion through text, and then you have to understand. When it's text, when you're reading those words, you may not even understand the tone. So you have to interpret tone. There's just a lot that goes into it. So you're going to have to communicate with each other at some point, face to face in real life.
Right.
Let's get into a little bit of these comments here. Let's take a comment here from Mary Fonda Hines. She says here, families get private issues tied up on social media, and that is not good. Certain things should be handled privately. Definitely. We definitely agree with that. I see Keisha LaShawn says appropriating our culture. I think she is responding to it. Well, definitely. We see that happening all the time. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was agreeing. I was just saying yes. And that was one of the words I was looking for in the moment. But, sometimes words just don't come to you when you need them. But appropriating was one of the words I was looking for in my example.
Right. It happens. It happens. I think I want to get a little bit more into the conversation. I just wanted to acknowledge, our people here who have joined us in the chat. We are talking about how the internet is shifting the culture. It is, guys, and we've got to take it back.
It's sad. And again, with this thing about the receipts, as we watch this thing play out with Zion and this young woman, it's ridiculous.
Right.
She's just exposing so much. And I want to say this: why can't people are getting in relationships, right? They're happy to get in relationships. I understand that people don't want to break up. It's a hurtful thing. It can be, but I want us to learn how to break up.
Yes.
Can we learn how to break up?
Because it doesn't have to be malicious and nasty. It really doesn't.
Can we learn how to break up? There's ways to do that. You can part ways. Imagine you want to ruin someone who you just told you loved.
Right.
Imagine you were sleeping next to someone. They gave you trust. And you're taking pictures of them while they're sleeping?
Right. That's a little weird.
What are you thinking? Why are you that vindictive?
Right.
Like
why are you plotting that?
Where do you
the
go?
whole time?
Like, so it just goes to say, if that's something that you were if you were doing that pre-breakup,
you had a plan.
Right. So you wanted receipts. So that means you had no expectation of this working. And if it didn't work, you want to destroy that person.
Right.
Rather than part ways, go through your little hurt. I'm not saying you're not going to be hurt. Go through your hurt.
Yeah.
Heal and move on. People, I encourage you to learn how to break up. I want people to learn how to break up. For as much as you want love, and if you loved a person, if you ever told a person that you loved them, break up with them like you got some sense.
Yeah. But hurt people. So that's easier said than done.
I ain't say it wasn't easy. You know what I mean?
Look, it ain't easy, but it's possible.
I ain't say it wasn't easy.
It's possible.
I had some scandalous scumbags, scummy.
Well, I know you done broke a few hearts. So
now see, you did not. Whose side you on?
Well, when we were talking about oversharing and how people just overshare, well, there are also people who overshare in person.
First of all, we in these internet streets, and you gonna call your mama out like that?
Well, when people ask me why I am the way I am.
Cut.
I'm just saying.
Cut.
My mama.
People overshare on the internet. People also overshare in person.
I just got one thing to say, KJ. Not only should you have cut that, I should have cut that piece out of the video, and I realized I didn't do that.
You did it.
I realized that. I didn't like that. But people really, that's all in fun and games. But that's
Right.
exactly how things happen. People are just, they get online, and that's one thing about people when they go live. That's why I always used to tell you that I felt like lives could also be dangerous, because a person start talking and their mouth is just free and they're just saying whatever it is that they want to say. And they probably said something and the conversation just escaped them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Look at what you got people in here saying. Mary said, she said, "Oh, Miss Tanya, she get it from her mama."
I get all my wonderful qualities from my mama. See what I did there?
I like it. That sounds good. I see Keisha LaShawn. She says, "Money will make people do evil things." I feel sad for Zion. Sounds like she is setting him up. It absolutely does sound like she's setting him up, and it's horrible. It really is. I see we got Roxanne in the building. How you doing, Roxanne? We got Trinidad up in the house here this evening. Nataki, Annie Lee, Roxanne. All right. And Roxanne, I know I don't see all those laughing faces talking about she called you out, T. Somebody, I need y'all to come back on my size. Y'all come back to me. Come back. She was just making it.
I brought it back full circle. I said I get all my wonderful qualities from my mama.
You're going to have people believe in that. I think I'm almost scared to press play again. I'm afraid to get back into that conversation.
Because I don't remember all of what we said now.
Let me hear what you're saying.
And heartbreak is subjective.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Someone's heart can be broken and that could not have been your intention. I'm just letting you know that that's how they feel. Woo!
Testing the speakers on StreamYard.
Sounds like they're working. Have a great show.
Testing the speakers on StreamYard.
Sounds like they're working. Have a great show. This episode of the Brown South Girls was brought to you by Heartbreakers United.
Do we have commercials on here? We need a commercial break because
I do watch a podcast and they actually do commercial breaks, but during the commercial break, they are promoting an item. So let's just say we'll be right back. We're going to commercial. I like your shirt.
Thank you, girl.
Where'd you get that from?
I got this from Meek Apparel.
What?
Yes, I did.
I need you to give me Meek information because I need one of those.
Well, you can look them up online.
What's his?
Meek Apparel.
I'm going to pull him right on up.
They got all kind of shirts. I got one that has Dr. Maya Angelou, Frederick Douglass.
Oh, they pop up at the first Google search.
Let me tell you
That's how you know you real.
Now, I did give it my own little spice. I put the little sleeves right here, got a little slit right here because I needed to make it me.
Yeah. And I will say, the Meek Apparel has Black Girl Magic shirts on sale.
How much they cost?
$20.99.
Come on.
Oh, I think all the shirts on sale. Wait a minute.
So you trying to tell me they got a Juneteenth special going on?
Yes. Come on with it.
All right.
Shop The Meek Apparel. This episode of the Brown South Girls was brought to you by The Meek Apparel. Ding. And boom. And then they cut right back into the show like a commercial never happened.
And we back, y'all. And we back. Matter of fact.
And we back.
Yeah, we made it back. We back after this commercial break.
Yeah. I hope y'all enjoyed. I think we should have more commercial breaks. I think, spice up the show a little bit.
We will. And if you want to be sponsor on this show, call her.
When you say call, you mean on the phone. Send us a message.
Use these internet streets.
Right. Use the internet. Leave us a nice comment. You can send us a direct message. We will get back to you.
Send us your shirt.
I might love a good shirt.
Now, don't you send me a shirt with something on it that I won't wear. Because some of y'all, you might not have the same idea of what I like.
Oh, you're right. I like a good shirt. If it's a catchy slogan or something captivating on it.
And let them know we gonna have some brown shouts. my lips not working. Let them know about our shirts.
We also are gonna have some Brown South Girls shirt, and you've seen them on the show before.
Apparel,
apparel, merch, stuff,
cups,
things, items. Oh, we could do no, because I don't want people sneezing on us. I don't know if I want people sneezing on the Brown South Girls.
I thought they was just gonna plot,
We can do pillowcases. No, because then they sleeping on us, and we need y'all to wake up.
Don't sleep on us.
We can do cups. We should do some Brown South Girl glasses.
Because
can we see without them?
Peeps. Go ahead and give us that contract. Because I wear a whole lot of fashionable glasses. People always say, "Ooh, girl, your frames are nice."
Yeah, they are.
Where did you get those frames?
I can't tell you because we're not sponsored by them.
We're not sponsored by them right now.
But when we get a glasses sponsor, I got y'all.
We got you. Is there anything else about the internet culture you feel like? Do you feel like people take themselves through so much to become monetized or to get a certain amount of subscribers? How do you think that influences the content that they put out?
I think it takes people to a place where they feel like they have to make a certain type of content to be monetized and to be noticed. A lot of the times they are trying to make content that they see is already popular and getting a lot of traction, because it's like, oh, okay, if this is popular right now and I do it, then I'll get the same traction. And that's not always the case. You definitely have to find your audience. But I will say I do think a lot of people kind of try to change and mold their internet sales to become more appealing to whatever audiences they think will follow.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, because like we have been doing this show for what, over a year and a half, almost?
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Yeah. So we're in our second season. So it's a difference when you are watching content and when you're creating content. So being on the other side of it and also being a content creator and being a part of this podcast, how has that changed the way you look at the internet and how you feel about content creators?
It definitely makes me more conscious and like more aware of what I'm consuming when it comes to the internet. It also makes me want to kind of just stay up to date with what's going on, like just current events, whether they're serious events or just things that are trending, because you never know what could be a good topic for the podcast. And I feel like, as far as content creators are concerned, first of all, hats off to content creators that can just go and find their audience and commit to it and stick with it, because it's not easy to find your niche. That's what I meant to say.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know necessarily that it's something that just magically happens. I think that, well, I know it's just a matter of committing yourself to the work. And being true to what you want to give. You can't really think about like, okay, well, what do I want to say or what do I like? It can't really be about you. You have to give your audience something,
right?
So that's what really happens, more so than saying that you found your niche. You got to get in there. You got to put in the work. Like you said, you got to stay aware of what's going on in the scenes, and that's on on the worldly scenes, what's going on in news, what's going on in culture, what's really happening in life.
Right.
So how can I take this information, use this information, and allow it to be useful in the way that I present my content?
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I feel about it. Because I often tell people, and I stand by this, I feel like everyone should or could have a podcast. You very well could, because you can really do it on your camera. On your camera phone.
Yeah.
There's levels to this thing. So it depends on what you want to do. But if you have a message, and it can be a small message, it doesn't even have to be a full podcast. You see that people are making shorts now. So much so that people's attention span is really short.
Yeah.
So like what we're doing, where we come and we sit here and we have like an hour format, there's people who are not used to watching like anything over a minute.
Right.
And you know that, because even after we do this content, we still have to go back and repurpose this, and we pull minutes out of this.
Yeah.
So we know what they're looking for, that quick, that instant, fix. They want that message. But if you've got the message in there and you can share that with someone, I say, hey, share it.
Yeah.
You never know what can make someone's day.
Right.
You never know what can change someone's life. And I know that to be true, because in the early days of the internet, and we were talking about MySpace, and I can take it back there, but during those times when I was going through some things, I was going through some difficult things, and I felt like I was in a space where I wasn't in a lot of like-minded people, or I hadn't found those persons yet, because I was newly back into the United States. But this thing, the internet, I could see people, and I could hear or read what they were going through, and it kind of made me say, hey, I'm not the only one going through this, and it just, it gave me some inspiration.
Yeah.
I got inspiration for writing. I got inspiration to getting into some of the things that we're doing today. So it can help. And so I felt like if someone can make me feel that way, if someone can help me get through a difficult time, I feel like by sharing my story, I might be helping someone else. So it's not so much about you doing the things that you want to do. It's about sharing a message. What can you share that can be useful to someone. And that is what's going to make people watch the content.
You heard it here first.
All right. I think it's time for us to get out of here.
You know, we've been in here for a little minute.
We've been in here for
a little minute.
We have.
If only the people could have saw before we started recording.
I don't know, KJ. Look like we about to dip out, and we might need to tell people what we did last night before we dip out. What you think about that?
I think we do.
We do. I realized what I didn't realize is that we were over the hour here. So we were a little bit over. And we never do that. Or at least we haven't done that before.
We didn't.
So here's what we're going to do. Tell the people what we did last night.
We saw Joe and Fantasia last night. And when I tell you they don't owe me anything except my voice back.
Okay.
Because the time was had.
Well, in that respect, if that's what you're trying to say, maybe we need to let the people see a little something. I got a little bit of the behind the scenes I can share with them. You know, because we had our camera phones out at the concert just like everybody else.
Sure did.
People know where we at.
Y'all were here to see Joe and Tasia.
Joe and Fantasia.
Go ahead and free yourself.
Go ahead and free yourself. Y'all, we at the Florence Center.
We are. And it looks so nice now. Come through, Florence.
Yes. Let the people know why we at the Florence Center.
We're here to see Joe and Fantasia.
To say again the first person.
Joe.
I wanna know that Joe.
Joe. The
all
Joe.
the things your man won't do.
I think we got here before him. So if they need us to get on stage and entertain the people, we know a good medley of songs.
This is where it goes down, where it goes down, where it goes, where it goes, where it goes, where it goes, we gon' keep this straight, bro. Tell me what time it is. Treat this one so cold. Baby, I wanna do all I do. Every little bit. I want it down. Let me see if y'all remember this one. Talk. All my 80s babies in here, put a hand up, put a hand up. Let's really do it how we do it, how they go. Make some noise for yourself in the world. One time for your life in the entertainment, man. One, two, everybody in the building, let me hear you. What it say? Sing it. Keep it going, let me hear you say. Say what? Sing it. Okay. I like this part. She broke it down like this. She say, and what she say? Look at y'all, man. Look at y'all. Y'all bring up the head. 1, 2, 3. Everybody, get out.
I got to put that audio out a little bit. I don't want them to strike our show. But you see the fun that we are having, that the people are having in the building. It's a good time, y'all. It's a good time. You hear me?
If you're ready to see Fantasia, get up on your feet. Get up on your feet. Let her know you're here, Florence. South Carolina, let her know you're here. Get up on your feet. Make some noise in the building one time.
people know.
Y'all, we just saw Fantasia
And Joe.
It was good.
It was really
I had
good.
me a time.
I had
a time.
a great time.
A great time.
I sing so much.
I might not be able to talk tomorrow.
I don't know.
We gonna pray about it.
We gonna try.
Cause woo.
Now we gonna show y'all some of the clips, but because we don't have the rights to the music,
Y'all just gotta go see it yourselves.
we just gonna let you see some clips. Joe, he did all the things that your man won't do.
Yeah, Joe, we gotta talk because my mother was there.
All
But
the
it's okay.
things. All of them, Joe. All of them, Joe. I was there with my daughter, so I didn't want you to talk about all of the things.
You know,
That was a little. But did you know we went to Jill Scott? If you could go to a Jill Scott concert with your mama,
true. You can do anything.
You can do anything.
Absolutely
You can.
anything.
We was just saying, like, it's 2023 and the world kind of really opened back up again, and we've been out here concerting.
This is my third one already.
Who'd you see?
I done saw Jill, Janet, and Joe, the 3 J's.
Wait a minute. Did you say Janet?
I sure did. It had a blast.
Jill?
Mm-hmm.
Joe?
Tell me about it.
This the Brown
Ask me
South.
about it.
This. Let them know who we are.
The Brown South girl.
That's right. We here live. Well, we was here live. Now the traffic is doing what it's doing, so we talking to y'all.
Right.
All right. I'm gonna just go ahead and I think we should cut.
Yeah.
We gonna cut. All right, KJ. All right.
I was over here singing again.
You understand? Listen, I don't even think I'm well rested again yet.
Me either. Me either.
I'm not. I don't know. I think we done went a little bit too much over, but I think we were able to have a good conversation. I think people definitely, they see where the internet has intersected into crossing into our lives, getting all involved and mixed up with the culture. Is really going to be up to us individually to know how to use this tool, because it is a tool. But if you don't use it properly, just like anything can be abused, people are out here abusing information.
Right.
Yep. Well, let me ask you something. Since I got you here, how did your day go today? You made it back. I realized you had a safe drive, and I'm happy for that. But how was your day?
Oh, it went really well. It was a great day.
Okay.
I did get confused for a student twice, but it's okay. It's okay.
They thought you were a student.
2 different parents asked me, so what are you studying? Nothing.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what we need to do?
You gotta send our people out right.
We got to send our people out right. We done had a whole conversation. Okay, we done showed them how our weekend went. We had a little fun, and hats off to everybody who went out and was at the Joe and Fantasia concert, because it wasn't it live in there.
It was packed. It was live. It felt good. I hope everybody had as good of a time as we did.
Listen, if they didn't, we had enough fun for like 3, 4, 5, 6 people.
Or at least we had enough fun for 3 sections.
In fact, we brought out the whole row that we were sitting on.
Right. So we had enough fun for our entire section.
Yeah, we did that. We had a good time. Shout out to Tori. Keep the faith with Tori. She's out in these real streets right now. It's a gospel concert going on this afternoon.
Oh,
so she's out there.
Now Tori, the one whose voice gonna be gone for real.
Yeah, shout us out to everybody. Shout out to Big P. She was looking real good last night out on stage. Shout out to her.
That pink jumpsuit she had on yesterday.
You know who styled her?
No.
Oh, Victoria. Yes,
Victoria, I know.
Whitney, yeah, Whitney Victoria. And of course, Victoria did her makeup.
Okay, that's the Victoria I know.
Well, their team, they got a little glam team that they worked out that thing, but they were looking good. But anyway, we'll talk about this after the show. You know what we need to do?
Right.
Let the people know when we're going to be back.
And see, I remember, because we filmed it, but I remember we're going to be back July 30th, 6 o'clock on the dot.
So glad you remembered. We'll be back doing this thing again on July 30th, the Brown South Girls podcast. We love talking to you guys. Thank you guys for talking to us. Make sure you enjoy your week. Enjoy yourself. We only got one life to live out here. make sure you live it and live it well. All right.